What if I told you about a guy who was a dominant force in high school, a dominant force in college, was one of the top 2 picks in a draft class that featured Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Love? Just disappeared one day. That's what happened to Michael Beasley. One day he was the next big thing in basketball with all the talent in the world to be the next superstar in the NBA, and the next, he was struggling to stay relevant in the league. So how did this even happen? Where did he go? And where is he now? To understand the story of Michael Beasley, we've got to go back to the beginning where this whole thing started. Michael Beasley arrived on the scene on January 9th, 1989 in Cheverly, Maryland. His early years were marked by struggles and instability, which would follow him throughout his life and his career. Beasley was raised by his mother, Fatima Smith, alongside his 4 siblings. His father had abandoned the family when Beasley was young, leaving his mother to take on the responsibility of raising 5 children of her own. Despite the challenges, Fatima was determined to provide the best life possible for her children, often working hard to make ends meet. In 2005, Beasley's family moved from Montgomery County to Frederick, Maryland, which added another layer of instability to his life. From a young age, he was no stranger to change, attending a total of 7 different schools over the course of 5 years. This constant movement made it difficult for Beasley to find a stable educational environment. But despite the challenges, his passion for basketball remained unwavering. Beasley's talent on the basketball court began to shine early. He played for prestigious AAU teams such as PG Jaguars and DC Assault, showcasing his skills alongside future NBA players. He was a natural on the court, known for his athleticism and scoring ability. His combination of size, speed, and skill made him a standout player even at a young age. It was clear that Beasley had a future in basketball, but his upbringing would present ongoing challenges that could affect his path to greatness. One of the most significant influences in Beasley's life was Kevin Durant. The two grew up just 5 minutes apart and they quickly became close friends. They both played for the same AAU teams and were consistently ranked among the top high school prospects in the country. Durant and Beasley's bond was special, with the two of them pushing each other to be better. Their shared experiences as young basketball phenoms helped solidify their friendship, and they would go on to be one of the most talked about pairings in high school basketball. A pretty funny story about their early days together that highlighted just how close they were. When they were 11 years old, Durant had ordered pizza for the entire team after practice. However, Beasley couldn't resist the temptation, and he ended up stealing Durant's slice of pizza. And while this moment might not seem like much, it was a lighthearted reminder of their friendship and the strong personalities that both players had even at such young age. But beneath the humor was a deeper story of two young athletes navigating difficult circumstances and forging a path that would lead them to the NBA. Beasley's high school years were filled with promise, but also with challenges. He attended 6 different high schools, including Bowie High School, National Christian Academy, Riverdale Baptist, and Notre Dame Preparatory School. However, his most notable years came during his time at Oak Hill Academy, one of the most prestigious basketball programs in the country. At Oak Hill, Beasley was able to showcase his immense potential, and his performance earned him national recognition. As a high school senior, Beasley put up impressive numbers, averaging 28 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and almost 5 blocks per game. These stats were a testament to his all-around game and his ability to dominate on both ends of the floor. He was a force in the paint and a matchup nightmare for any defender. His ability to score from the inside while also stepping out to hit mid-range shots set him apart from many of his peers. One of Beasley's most memorable performances came in a game where he dropped 64 points and grabbed 31 rebounds. This extraordinary feat demonstrated his dominance on the court and his ability to take over a game when needed. As one of the top high school prospects in the country, Beasley's talent was undeniable, and he quickly became one of the most sought-after recruits in the country. Rivals.com ranked him as the #1 player in the class of 2007, and he was named a McDonald's All-American and a member of the 2006 USA Men's Under-18 National Team. Despite the challenges he faced off the court, Beasley's time in high school was marked by remarkable achievements. He was a standout player not only in high school, but also in national competition, further solidifying his reputation as one of the top players in the country. After high school, Beasley chose to play college basketball at Kansas State University. His decision to play for the Wildcats was not without controversy. At the time, it was rumored that Kansas State offered Beasley financial incentives to commit to the school, leading to a scandal years later. However, despite the controversy, Beasley's talent on the court was undeniable, and he quickly became one of the most dominant players in college basketball. During his freshman year at Kansas State, Beasley led the nation in rebounding, averaging 12.4 rebounds per game, while also scoring an impressive 26 points per game. His scoring ability was matched by his tenacity on the boards, and he quickly became one of the most exciting players to watch in college basketball. He set a new freshman record for double-doubles, recording 28 during the season, breaking Carmelo Anthony's previous record of 22 double-doubles. His dominance in the paint, combined with his ability to stretch the floor and score from the outside, made him nearly impossible to defend. Beasley's impact on the court was felt immediately. He had standout performances, including a game where he scored 44 points and grabbed 13 rebounds in a loss to Baylor, and another where he put up 39 points and grabbed 11 boards in a heartbreaking defeat to Kansas. Despite his individual brilliance, Kansas State struggled to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, overshadowed by teams like Memphis and Davidson. But Beasley's season was one of the best for a freshman in college basketball history. In recognition for his incredible season, Beasley was named the Big 12 Player of the Year, National Freshman of the Year, and earned first-team All-American honors. His season was so impressive that many considered him one of the top picks in the 2008 NBA draft, solidifying his status as one of the best college basketball players in the country. In 2008, Beasley declared for the NBA draft, foregoing his remaining eligibility at Kansas State. He was selected by the Miami Heat as the second overall pick in the draft, behind Derrick Rose, who went to the Chicago Bulls. Beasley's arrival in Miami was highly anticipated, with fans excited to see him pair up with star Dwayne Wade. However, his time in Miami didn't start as smoothly as many had hoped. Beasley's rookie season was filled with both promise and setbacks. On the court, he showed flashes of his potential, including a career-high 30-point game and some strong performances in the early part of the season. However, off the court, Beasley struggled with personal issues that would affect his career. He was involved in a fire department incident with his teammates, which led to a $50,000 fine. Additionally, Beasley's reputation took a hit when he was caught smoking marijuana during the NBA's rookie transition program, which teaches rookies how to adjust to life in the NBA. He was fined for this incident, which would be one of several off-court problems during his career. Despite the off-court distractions, Beasley showed that he had the talent to succeed in the NBA. His scoring ability was clear, and he had the potential to be a key player for the Heat moving forward. However, tension between Beasley's personal life and his professional career continued to cause problems. And after 2 seasons with Miami, the Heat traded Beasley to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2010. The trade to Minnesota marked a new chapter in Beasley's career. The Timberwolves were looking to build a competitive team, and they hoped that Beasley could provide a scoring punch alongside star forward Kevin Love. During his time in Minnesota, Beasley had some of the best performances of his career. In 2011, he posted a career-high 42 points in a game against the Sacramento Kings, showcasing his ability and versatility. He also had a 6-game stretch where he averaged 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists, proving that he still had the talent to be a major player in the league. However, despite these strong performances, Beasley's time in Minnesota was marred by off-court issues. He was arrested multiple times for marijuana possession and other incidents, which continued to hinder his progress in the NBA. The Timberwolves had hoped that Beasley would mature and take on a leadership role, but his lack of consistency both on and off the court led to growing frustrations. Additionally, the Timberwolves drafted Derrick Williams in 2011, adding another forward to an already crowded front court and further limiting Beasley's role on the team. By the end of the 2011-2012 season, Beasley's production had dropped significantly, and his future in Minnesota seemed uncertain. The team ultimately decided to part ways with him, and Beasley was waived in the summer of 2012. In the summer of 2012, Beasley signed a 3-year, $18 million contract with the Phoenix Suns. This was seen as a fresh start for the troubled forward, and many hoped that the change of scenery would help Beasley turn his career around. However, his time in Phoenix was short-lived. Despite the expectations, Beasley struggled to find his rhythm with the Suns system. He played a limited role and failed to live up to his potential, averaging just 10 points per game in his first season. Off the court, Beasley continued to face challenges. He was arrested for marijuana possession in 2013, and the Suns, frustrated by his lack of consistency and his ongoing legal issues, waived him later that year. At just 24 years old, Beasley's NBA future seemed bleak. After being waived by Phoenix, Beasley returned to the Miami Heat in 2013, where he had spent his first 2 seasons in the NBA. This time, Beasley found himself in a much different situation. The Heat had already won 2 NBA championships in 2012 and 2013 and were looking to continue their dominance in the league. Beasley joined the team that already had Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. And while Beasley did not play a major role in the team's success, he was able to contribute off the bench. During his second stint with the Heat in 2014, Beasley made his first NBA Finals appearance with the team. Though he did not play a significant role in the finals, the Heat were defeated by the San Antonio Spurs in 5 games, marking the end of their run of championships. Despite the loss, Beasley's return to the Heat was seen as a potential comeback for his career. However, his time in Miami was short-lived, and he was waived after the season. And after his turbulent time in the NBA, Michael Beasley found new opportunities overseas, where his talent could still shine despite his struggles off the court. His international career began in 2014 when he signed with the Shanghai Sharks in the Chinese Basketball Association. The move was part of Beasley's attempt to reestablish himself and put his past issues behind him. In China, Beasley found a chance to play more freely, without the distractions of the NBA spotlight. It was a chance to prove that he could still play at a high level despite the challenges he faced in his earlier years. Beasley's impact in the CBA was immediate. During the 2014-2015 season, he became one of the league's most dominant players, showing why he had been so highly touted in the NBA. One of his most impressive achievements during his time was setting a CBA All-Star Game record by scoring 59 points. This performance made headlines, highlighting Beasley's scoring ability and proving that his talent had not diminished despite the obstacles he faced. Throughout that season, Beasley averaged an impressive 28 points and 10 rebounds per game. However, despite his individual success, the Shanghai Sharks struggled as a team, and they failed to make the playoffs. Even with Beasley's stellar performances, the team couldn't reach the heights that many had hoped for, which would later become a pattern in Beasley's career. Beasley's next stop was the Shandong Golden Stars for the 2015-2016 CBA season. Here, he took his game to another level, averaging 31 points per game and 13 rebounds, both of which were among the best in the league. His performance earned him CBA Foreign MVP Award, a recognition that acknowledged his dominance and skill on the court. It was a remarkable achievement given the high level of competition in the CBA. Beasley's time in China not only proved his skill, but also gave him a platform to regain his confidence after a rough period in the NBA. He was once playing again at a high level, and his name was on the radar of basketball fans and NBA scouts. Still, Beasley's journey wasn't over, and his quest for redemption continued. In 2016, Beasley returned to the NBA, signing with the Houston Rockets. Although his stint with the Rockets was brief, Beasley had some noteworthy performances. He posted a season-high 30 points in one game, proving that he still had the scoring ability to contribute to an NBA team. He also played a role in the Rockets' push toward the playoffs that season, showing that he could still be a valuable asset when given the opportunity. However, his time with the Rockets was short-lived, and Beasley struggled with consistency, and his off-court issues meant he couldn't carve out a long-term role with the team. Following his brief stay with the Rockets, Beasley had another shot at an NBA career with the Milwaukee Bucks. During the 2016-2017 season, he played a more prominent role with the team, and he had a standout game where he dropped 28 points against the San Antonio Spurs. This performance was one of the high points of his time with the Bucks, but again, his inconsistencies on and off the court meant that he wasn't able to secure a lasting spot on the team. Beasley's NBA journey continued with the New York Knicks in 2017. Over the course of the season, Beasley had some impressive performances, including a 32-point game against the Boston Celtics. This game was one of the highlights of his later NBA career, showcasing that when he was on, Beasley was still capable of putting up big numbers. However, his time with the Knicks was marked by inconsistency, and despite some strong individual games, Beasley could not solidify a long-term role with the team. Beasley's career then took another turn in 2018 when he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. However, this chapter of his career was overshadowed by personal struggles. Beasley missed much of the season due to personal reasons, including the death of his mother. The loss had a profound impact on Beasley, and it became clear that the personal challenges he faced off the court were still affecting his professional life. The Lakers were dealing with their own struggles, and despite being given a chance, Beasley's time with the team was limited. In 2019, Beasley went back to China, signing with the Guangdong Southern Tigers. He played for the team for a brief period before joining the Brooklyn Nets in 2020. However, his contract with the Nets was voided due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which added another layer of difficulty to an already tumultuous career. At this point, Beasley has spent time both in the NBA and overseas, but the setbacks continued to pile up, and his career was at a crossroads. Despite the challenges, Beasley was far from ready to give up on his basketball career. He made several attempts at a comeback, hoping that his past experience could lead him to a second chance in the NBA. In 2021, Beasley signed with the Puerto Rican team named Condejido de Santa Fe. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, although he joined the team with high hopes, his struggles with consistency continued. His time in Puerto Rico was marked by a series of ups and downs, but Beasley's determination to get back to the NBA never wavered. After his time in Puerto Rico, Beasley returned to the Shanghai Sharks in 2022 for a brief stint. This was another chance to show that he could still play at a high level, but he ultimately decided to step away from the team. His time with the Sharks was short, but it marked another chapter in Beasley's ongoing attempt at a comeback. Beasley's journey was far from over. He continued to work out with NBA players like John Wall, trying to stay in shape and remain ready for another shot at the league. Beasley's desire to return to the NBA was clear, but his reputation had been tarnished by years of inconsistency and personal issues. Despite his impressive performances in the CBA and other leagues, NBA teams remain hesitant to offer him another opportunity. Throughout his career, Beasley faced many personal struggles that had a significant impact on his professional life. One of the most difficult moments came when his mother passed away. The loss was devastating for Beasley, and it affected his ability to focus on basketball. Despite his grief, Beasley chose to continue playing, trying to stay strong for his teammates. However, the weight of the loss was heavy, and it made his struggles both on and off the court that much more challenging. In addition to the loss of his mother, Beasley also faced the death of his cousin, which added to the emotional toll he was experiencing. And these personal tragedies had a profound impact on Beasley's mental state, and it became clear that his off-court struggles were continuing to affect his career. Beasley was doing his best to stay focused on basketball, but the grief and emotional strain was overwhelming. Beasley also struggled with his reputation. Throughout his career, he was often ridiculed for his inconsistency and off-court behavior. This made it even harder for him to move forward, and he found it difficult to break free from the negative perceptions that had followed him for much of his career. Beasley's emotional struggles, coupled with the public scrutiny, made it challenging for him to focus on what he loved most: basketball. As Beasley looks back on his career, he acknowledges that his past mistakes and immaturity played a role in his struggles. He has spoken openly about his regret for not handling things differently earlier in his career, but he also emphasizes that his personal challenges, including the loss of his mother, were significant factors in his struggles. Beasley has taken the time to reflect on his journey and understands that he could have done things differently, but he is also aware that life's challenges were sometimes beyond his control. One of the key aspects of Beasley's perspective is his financial stability. Despite the setbacks in his career, Beasley has been able to secure his financial future, something that many other players in similar situations struggle with. Beasley has worked hard to ensure that his family is taken care of, and this financial security has provided him with the ability to continue pursuing his dreams, even if those dreams are no longer as clear as they once were. Beasley remains hopeful that he still might have a chance to contribute to a team. Although he has struggled with consistency, he believes he can still offer something to a contending team, particularly as a scorer off the bench. His per 36-minute numbers are still impressive, and he remains confident that if given a chance, he could be a valuable asset for the right team. As far as what he is up to now, well, he's playing for the Miami 305 in the Big 3 League, and he recently went viral for the build-up and one-on-one game where he defeated Lance Stephenson 31-21 in a game that was broadcasted on TNCLeague.com. And I believe he just recently called out Carmelo Anthony and Joe Johnson, which I believe Joe accepted. We'll see if they set it up. Beasley's career serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of maturity and discipline in the world of professional sports. His talent was undeniable, but his off-court issues and lack of consistency prevented him from reaching his full potential. Beasley's story is a reminder that even the most talented athletes can struggle with personal challenges, and those struggles can have a lasting impact on their success. And while Beasley's story may have been filled with setbacks and disappointments, there's also a lesson to be learned. Beasley's career reminds us that success in sports is not just about talent. It's about handling personal issues, maintaining discipline, and making the right decisions when it matters most. His journey is not just about basketball. It's about overcoming adversity and learning from mistakes. Beasley's legacy may not be defined by championships or all-star appearances, but it is still an important one. He was a player who had the potential to be great, but his struggles both on and off the court preventing him from realizing that potential. However, his story remains as an important one for future athletes, as it highlights the importance of perseverance, maturity, and the impact that personal challenges can have on a career. Beasley's story is a reminder of importance of overcoming adversity and continuing to fight for what you want, no matter the setbacks. While his journey has not been easy, it is far from over, and Beasley remains determined to make the most of whatever opportunities come his way. But what if I told you about a guy who was a 3-time All-Star, had over 10,000 career points, was known for his explosive plays and flashy crossovers, and was once considered one of the NBA's most exciting guards? Just seemed to disappear one day. If you want to know what happened to the franchise Steve Francis, just click right here.